All right, this is going to be the second video of the night, and tonight, this second video is going to go over the differences between adding and subtracting decimals and multiplying decimals. I've seen a lot of confusion in class, so I just wanted to make this video to clarify, summarize everything, so that if you get confused, you can always refer back to this video. So, I'm going to make some quick rules. For adding and subtracting, what you're going to end up doing is doing the problem like normal and lining up the decimals. So what's important? You have to line up the decimals. And that's about it. So we're going to do a quick example. So let's say 1.3 times 0. Not times, we're doing adding and subtracting. Plus 0.25. The only important thing here is that your decimals are lined up and then you bring it straight down into your answer. Don't worry if there's an open space, because remember, you can always add zeros after numbers in your after decimal. So we have 3/10 and 0 100ths plus 2/10 and 5 100ths. So because they're in the same place value, it works out. So then we just add. We have 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 1.3 plus 0.25 would be 1.55. Subtracting works the same way, but just as a quick reminder, you have to make sure you are borrowing. So let's say we're subtracting 0.311 minus 0.009. So here, we can't subtract 1 from 9, so we have to borrow. So we go to the previous digit and get rid of it, right? Actually, I'm going to change my problem a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting. 0.311 minus 0.019. So same thing, we can't subtract 1 from 9, so we have to borrow from the previous. So I'm going to cross this off and knock it down 1, and then this goes up by 10. So now instead of 1, we have 11. Now we have, let me change the color to make it clearer. So now it's 11. Now we have 11 minus 9, and that's 2. Now we have 0 minus 1. Well, we can't do that still, so do the same thing. Borrow from the previous digit, knock it down 1, add 10. So now we have 10 instead of 0. We have 10 minus 1, so we have 9. Now we have 2 minus 0. Bring down the decimal. So our answer is 0.292. If you ever have a 0, you can borrow from 2 digits before. So if this was 301 minus 0.0301 minus 0.019, you would have knocked this down, but you would have, instead of borrowing from here, this had to get borrowed from immediately. So this would have been 2, 10, 11. 11 minus 9 is 2. 10 minus 1 is 9. 2. Oh, I messed up. Right here, I had a 1. Oh. Oh, that's why. So when I borrowed from the 3, that made a 10 right here. But then to make this 11, I had to borrow again, so it turned into a 9. So now I have 9 minus 1. I've seen this mistake a lot in class, and now you've seen me make it. So it's an easy mistake to make. You just have to remember, you always have to borrow from the previous number. All right, multiplying decimals. It's a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to break it down. So, step 1, write as if there was no decimal. Step 2, multiply. And step 3, count the number of digits after decimal points. And finally, move the decimal point in your answer left that many places. So as an example, if I have 1.012 times, actually, let's follow my own instructions, 1.012 times 0.3. Our first step is to pretend that there's no decimals. So let's say I have 1012, that's an ugly 2, 1012 times 3. And I'm going to put the 0 in front of it. So I'm going to do my multiplication like normal. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3. The 0, everything's going to be 0, so I'm just going to skip it. So now I'm going to put my decimal point back in. So my decimal point is here and here. I'm going to count how many digits are after the decimal for each number. For this one, 0, 1, and 2 are all after the decimal. Let's make that a different color. 0, 1, and 2 are all after the decimal. And for the bottom number, just the 3 is after the decimal. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers after the decimal point. So I'm going to write 4 dp. This is what Miss Ogaro does. Use decimal points. And then all you have to do is move the decimal in your final answer, right? Step 4. So we did step 1, write as if there's no decimal. Step 2, multiply. Step 3, count the number of digits after decimal points. And step 4, move the decimal point in the answer left that many places. So I'm going to take my decimal point. For 3036, this is if the decimal point's at the end. You always start from the right. And you jump 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our final answer is 0.3036. Let's say I had an extra decimal place, though. What would have happened if I had an extra 0 at the end here, and I had a 0 at the end here? Well, actually, let's do a completely new problem. 0.001 times 0.2. So this one, I just have 1 times 2, but let's put the zeros in front. So 2 times 1 is 2, and I just have a bunch of zeros. I'm actually going to erase this 0 just to show you how it works. So then let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, and 1 after our decimal points. So that gives us a total of 4 decimal places again. So we have to move it 4 times. Starts from the right, 1, 2, 3, and then we get stuck because we don't have an extra 0. So what we have to do is pretend that there's something else there. And what is there? We add a 0. So our decimal point is here, and our final answer is going to be 0.0002. So once again, the differences between multiplying and adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting, line up your decimals. And then add or subtract like normal, carrying, or borrowing as needed. Multiplying decimals, you have to write as if there was no decimal, multiply, count the number of digits after decimal points, and then move the decimal place in the answer left that many places. I hope you can use this video as a reference going forward, and again, hope you have a great evening.